Welcome to Book Talk. My goal in this series is to just introduce you to some inspiring books that have been helping me throughout my art journey and where I get my ideas from, and just all around awesome reading. So let's get started. Today's book is by Frances Palmer called Life in the Studio. And I'll link to below to the talk where she goes deep into the book. But I just wanted to introduce you to this book because number one, I just absolutely think it is so beautiful. Even just the first page is just great already, or the cover. It makes me want to just get my paints out and just start going. So let me just show you some pages from the book. I mean, look at this first page already, right? So many different patterns. You could just get your sketchbook out and start painting some of those markings. Let's see, what else does she include in this book? This is Frances Palmer, and she has been a potter for 30 years. And it gives a little bit of her background. It has recipes. So be forewarned, if you are hungry, I don't know if you want to look at this book, but if you are interested in painting food, there you go. There's also sections on building a pot step by step. She shows you how she makes different things. And just lessons in arranging flowers. And it is nonstop. I mean, look at that. It just makes me want to, like I said, get my sketchbook out and just paint. Wow. And some of these flowers are actually, she's a gardener, so they're from her actual garden. So she brings them in and then puts them in the vessels that she makes. Let me see here. Look at this. I mean, it is just so beautiful. Okay, I wanted to show you these other pots. So I also did a little Instagram live having to do or with this book as an inspiration, so I'll also link to that. But I wanted to read you the 3 parts of the book. So the first part, which was really powerful for me, is begin as you mean to go on. So she's gonna, like I said, the book is broken up into 3 parts. So I'll just read you the beginning of each part. When I began taking ceramics classes, I knew nothing about making pottery. I had worked in other media and had always been good with my hands, but the technical requirements of ceramics were new to me, and there was much to discover. It was as though I were Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, setting out into the spiraling yellow brick road. But I didn't find this intimidating at the least. Rather, I knew it was essential to be a beginner, to immerse myself in the process and allow myself to gain experience through successes and failures. That is just super, super powerful. Especially if you're beginning in painting or really in any art, just to remember that it's okay to be a beginner. Immerse yourself in the process. Let yourself gain experience instead of just being so down of maybe your painting didn't turn out exactly how you would want it to be. Since then, my art has been an ongoing exploration and learning process, as I am mostly self-taught. So that's really interesting to remember. This is also the way I have progressed as a gardener, cook, and photographer. It is the way I work best. It took time and patience to begin at the beginning, but I found myself in the middle before I realized it, and I've been moving forward ever since. I just thought that was an absolutely powerful, powerful first introduction to the first chapter, her history. And definitely, I might take a picture of this or take quotes from it and put it around my studio just as a reminder. All right. The next chapter, part 2, is routine is everything. And I'll read a little bit about that. Consistency is essential to my creative life, and I am out in the studio every day, or rather, I am drawn there without conscious effort. I long to be there always. Sometimes in the midst of my work, I have to stop and walk outside. Although ostensibly I plant flowers to give context to the pots in my photographs, I grow them as much for my peace of mind. The ability to go stand in the garden, to just be there in the quiet and think, is fundamental to my approach to making. It is the balance to the constant effort to produce. Last summer in the early mornings, I marveled at a hummingbird that regularly visited my gardens. I heard it coming as I stood among the tennis court beds, its wings beating impossibly fast, and watched as it kissed each blossom that it chose to light upon. That moment of intense beauty gave me the sense of tranquility to head back into the studio, ready to begin again. So my takeaway from just that little intro is to be consistent, to show up for yourself, to show up for your work, and to take breaks. Because sometimes you're in it and you just want to keep going, but there's something about taking a walk outside and just taking a little bit of a breather. All right, and then I just want to tell you about the last part. Part 3, looking forward. Some days I would like to spend hours throwing whatever I please or experimenting with glazes and forms, setting aside client commissions. That being said, customer requests are often what propel me into different directions and stretch my ideas. I might consider a shape in a book or museum that I'd like to explore, or conjure an idea for a vase that would be useful for flowers currently blooming in the garden. These things are among the many catalysts for new designs. So there's something to be said about not just exploring, but also like stopping at museums, looking at different books. These things help inspire. Evolution and growth are essential to any creative career. I totally agree with that. Documentation and record keeping and continual self-assessment of where my work has been and where it is headed both play a role in that progression. You have to look back to move forward in some regard. I may rely on my available catalog to fulfill customer expectations and desire, but I always believe that the next group of work or the next firing is going to be the best articulation of my ideas. I feel that I have yet to throw the definitive form or achieve another of the elusive, gorgeous glazes that have captivated my attention for so long. And Van Gogh said the exact same thing almost in a different sense. He just said he's always searching. He can't find it yet, but he's always looking. So I just wanted to share this book with you. It would be great if you can see if you can find it at your local library. And if you don't, if you can't find it there, they have them on Amazon, and I'll also link to that. But yeah, it's a really great book and it has totally inspired me to make some things. I'll show you what I recently worked on. Just roll back here 1 second. Okay. And this is inspired by some of the flowers on my desk and some of the vases that she had. So that's something fun. Just, get out of your head. Just try something new. Maybe try some of your new tools and supplies. But yeah, so thank you for joining me on this book talk, and can't wait to share more books with you so that you can grow your art reading list. All right, until next time, bye.